Hello everyone and welcome to today's Do Digital Masterclass, which is all about measurement and optimization. This masterclass is proudly brought to you by Texas Digital as well as myself, Megs Hollis, the course coordinator and co-founder here at Do Digital. What is this masterclass all about? Well, we're going to be taking you through a 4-step process when it comes to measurement and optimization. The first step is why we would measure and optimize. The second is how exactly we measure and optimize. The third step is delving into each of the social media platforms' insights and analytics capabilities. And finally, step 4 is taking a deeper dive into Google Analytics, what we call UTM tracking, as well as Bitly links. Starting with our first section, why measure and optimize. Let's take a look first at how one can measure our social media efforts. So there are a number of different ways in which we can almost determine success or whether or not we've reached the success that we were setting out to achieve. And this is through metrics like reach. So for example, how many eyeballs or impressions did you get on something? Consumption. How did people consume the media that you were putting out there or the content that you put out there? Sharing, did they share it with their friends? Did it go viral? Actions, what engagement actions are they taking as a result of seeing your content? And then finally, conversions, which is often the most important metric because this means that consumers are actively actually doing exactly what you've set out for them to do. So whether that be in the instance of e-commerce, converting by selling them something or signing up to your white paper or your podcast or whatever you may be marketing online. So why is it really so important to measure our social media efforts? Well, we know that time is precious, so we don't want to be wasting time on things which don't work. We also want to know where exactly we can improve our efforts by tracking exactly what we're doing so we can see easily what is working and what is not. You also want to be able to decide which social media channels are bringing in the most revenue for you and make the most sense for your business. And you also want to see how specific changes impact your social media goals. So when you make basic tweaks to your social media, what is the impact that then has on your overall marketing? In terms of calculating return on investment or ROI on social media, this is really important. So social media is obviously quite a time-consuming thing, and it can be a sinkhole in terms of money and resources. So ideally, we want to be measuring our return in monetary terms. So we want to compare how much money is going into my social media marketing efforts and how much is that worth. So what is the impact on my business? Is, for example, the majority of my website traffic coming from my social media, in which case it's 100% worth it? Or can I say actually the social media platform is not delivering on its KPIs and therefore either we can pull back the effort that we spend on it or we can decide to remove it from our social media strategy completely. So what are some of the examples of what goes into a social media strategy in terms of resources? So the first and most obvious one is man hours. So we know that time is obviously incredibly valuable, so we want to make it count. Content creation could refer to a photographer, a copywriter, someone creating a landing page for you, or outsourcing something to a freelancer, because all of this takes a great deal of effort. Social media tools, of course, we've tried to focus as far as possible on free tools. However, we know that there are tools like Sprout Social, for example, or Hootsuite, which you may be using for scheduling. So how do those stack up in comparison to what you're getting back from social? And then, of course, the hard costs that come from paid media. So if you're running a promoted tweet, Facebook ad, or boosting a Facebook post, you really want to be incorporating that cost into your analysis as well. It's also important to bear in mind that there's two very different kinds of return on investment. So you might be looking, for example, at your ongoing analytics. So that's all of your activity over a long period of time. And this is necessary for keeping up with the overall pulse of general conversation about your brand and company. And once your brand tracking is set up, you're basically just letting it run, you're scheduling your monthly posts, and you're checking in to see how everything's going. Then there's a little bit of different metrics which are more campaign focused. So they have a clear start date and a clear end date, and presumably you're running a competition or campaign of some description. And so this will help you to understand the impact of targeted marketing initiatives and will vary from campaign to campaign. So you can really Run a variety of different campaigns over a period and determine which is delivering best for your KPI.